Hold on to your butts.
Let's get it. Shake it like understand who I is. Not that many gon' do it like this. Bob your head, you can hear my shit, but I'm on my shit. I have no chill. I'm who I are. I'm who I is.
Hey, man, what is up? What's good? What is happening, y'all? Welcome back to TDG, the dating game live. Pew, 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 pew. I am one half of the TDG King.
And I'm Sean.
Hey, he got faster on this cue here this time, baby. And look, we are live today, going live on a Tuesday. Coming at you with some content. Sean hit me up earlier today and said, "Hey, bro, what is your availability to do a live stream tonight?" And I said, "For Sean, for you, I got you, boss. I got you. Let's acknowledge.
Always count on you.
Hey, that's what you can count on me. I don't know if that's the song. I just made it up. Let's acknowledge some of the early people in the building, get some of the marketing stuff out the way, and jump right into it. First of all, we have God Happened to Me said, "Good evening. Good evening to you." Okay. We are streaming across multiple platforms. You can find TDG on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. If you are watching on YouTube or Facebook, hit that like button, mash that like button. Do it. Do it now. Do it now.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. Oh, that's a dope Arnold, bro. That's a dope Arnold.
Thank you.
Hey, so Sean, give us a clue, as I have a little bit about what we're going to be talking about tonight, but this is your baby, man. What are we going to be getting into tonight?
So, you know me, I like to share a good story. And of course, it's one of the stories that affects me. I won't say affects me, but something I went through. It's nothing, you have to wait and see what we talk about. But it's going to be very interesting because the story that happened to me happened a couple weeks ago. I think it was back on November 10th or something like that. No, that was a couple weeks ago. Anyways, it was the 10th of some month before this month.
Okay.
It was a Facebook conversation that I had. I actually had filmed this video on my own. I didn't post it because I'd left out some slides, but I'm glad I didn't because this we're about to go into ties perfectly into something I just ran into, I believe it was yesterday, day before yesterday online, that I was like, oh God, I'm glad I waited, or I'm glad I didn't post it because trust me, you know about me, I love accountability stories. Um, so basically, what we're going to bring up is a Facebook post, and it's about a litmus test. And I'm just going to go ahead and read. I'm going to go ahead and read through it. Don't worry. I mean, you can go ahead and pull up. I have my screen over here too. But yeah, go ahead and pull up on the screen for us, King.
Yep. Oh, hold on.
Put your prawn away.
Yep. There we go. Boom. All right.
All right. So we got here. It's called, like I said, the shopping cart theory. It's a litmus test. It's just a simple test to see how people think and how people will act in certain situations.
Okay.
So anyways, the shopping cart is the ultimate litmus test for whether a person is capable of self-governing. To return the shopping cart is an easy, convenient task and one which we all recognize as the correct, appropriate thing to do. I mean, what about you? Think that, King?
Yes, I always put my shopping carts back and I look at people some type of way if they don't, especially when it's like 15 seconds away.
Same. That's how I look at them, like the same way people put like the toilet paper wrong on the toilet thing or backwards. I'm like, you animal, what's wrong with you? Who raised you? Were you born in a barn?
Yes. There's somebody that's listening right now that puts it on the wrong way.
Oh man.
I don't know how these animals live.
Right. But moving on. I gotta stop those ums. Tell me about that.
Yes. All right, Professor. Come on now.
All right. So to return the shopping cart is objectively right. There are no situations other than dire emergencies in which a person is not able to return their cart. Simultaneously, it is not illegal to abandon your shopping cart. Therefore, the shopping cart presents itself as the apex example of whether a person will do what is right without being forced to do it. No one will punish you for not returning the shopping cart. No one will fine you or kill you for not returning the shopping cart. You gain nothing by returning the shopping cart. You must return the shopping cart out of the goodness of your own heart. You must return the shopping cart because it is the right thing to do, because it is correct. A person who is unable to do this is no better than the animal. See, comes back to bite you. Uh, an absolute savage who can only be made to do what is right by threatening them with a law and the force that stands behind it. The shopping cart is what determines whether a person is good or bad member of society. So
Okay.
you probably still kind of wondering, like, what are we talking about, Sean? What are we talking about shopping carts for? And quick sidebar, I love Aldi. You know why I love Aldi? One of the main reasons I love Aldi? Because they make you pay for your shopping cart. You put a quarter in and you pull your shopping cart out, and it makes them last longer and the wheels roll right, you know. But you go to Walmart, all the carts are jacked up. I used to think it was me and my bad luck that I always got like a jacked up cart. But no, it's because people don't put their cards back.
And ultimately, too, people don't understand the business expense that a business can afford to keep their prices low if they're not worried about different types of overhead.
Exactly.
Shopping carts are one of those expenses that can cause a bump in prices because people want to steal them, break them, damage them, things like that.
That's right. So next, we're going to go into the conversation that followed this post that I saw on my friend's Facebook page. I couldn't help myself not to comment on. So
Okay.
me and King will do a little bit of acting, a little bit of
And
a little theater.
scene. All right. Megan said, "This is why they asked what I do with a shopping cart when I'm done with it. When I was filling out my pet adoption form." Travis said, "My thoughts exactly." Shannon followed that up with, "So there are situations that aren't dire emergencies that could lead a person unable to return a cart. An elder person that uses the cart for support, parking near an abandoned one and using it, and is unable to return the cart. Return because they are either winded or unsteady. That's not a direct emergency. It's convenience and an unfortunate one. A mother or parent, one adult, of one or more young children, ages 1 month to 9 years old, that wasn't close enough to park close enough to the return cart area within eyesight of cheering. A person who has started to feel uneasy, watched or followed while putting their groceries away. They likely rushed to get their stuff in their vehicle and get the cart out of the way so that they could get in and lock their doors. Things like that are sometimes reasons cart aren't returned. Doesn't make that person a bad member of society, Sean.
Thank you, King. That was almost perfect. So I'm going to ask of your acting chops a little bit, since these are all females except for me. So it's a bunch of females and just me. So I
Uh-huh.
need you to bring your volume, not your volume, but your pitch, I
I
guess,
got you.
higher a couple octaves.
I got you.
So I responded, kind of just sounds like excuses to me that could be solved with better preparation. A person has all the energy to walk up and down the aisles getting the things they need, but when you get back to your vehicle, you can't walk the extra feet to put the cart away. Damn the owners of the cars in the parking lot. If Wynn decides to slam a stray cart into their car, who's going to pay for their damage to the car due to no fault of their own?
Says someone who likely never experienced a physical disability.
That was pretty good.
They may seem like excuses to you, and you have the right to think that. However, until you've been in any of those situations, you can't really say it's only an excuse. Feeling like you're being followed, watching the parking lot is not the best of feelings, especially if you're fearing for your life, Sean. Not being able to see your children in the car when you return a cart, a parent would understand that, at least for young children and weather permitting. Plus, nowadays, people get all butt hurt leaving a kid in the car while you're 10 feet away putting a shopping cart back. I hope you never have to experience any of those situations. As far as the owner's car getting damaged, depending on the insurance policy and what caused it, like a natural disaster or heavy storms, a dent from a shopping cart is covered.
So I responded to her previous comment or the other person's comment by saying, "Are you 100% sure I haven't?" Meaning that I don't have a disability, because as we all know, we should know, disabilities don't always present themselves physically. So I said, just because you can't see an obvious disability doesn't mean someone doesn't or didn't have one. Then I go on to say, so that's a no on preparation because literally each of your reasons could be solved with a little bit of prep. Feeling like you're being followed? Ask an associate to escort you to your car. Shopping at nighttime? Ask your husband to accompany you. And I said that for a reason because I know the statistics of single moms out there. And I knew that, you know what? If I throw it out there, based off what I've learned so far within the manosphere and all that stuff and red pill, that a lot of single moms out there. If I was in a casino, I would have won my bet right here. But you'll see later on. So I said, ask your husband to accompany you. Can't see your kids in the car while you put the cart away? How did you get the cart when you got to the store? Just do that in reverse with your kids. I'm not trying to be a dick. Just showing these concerns can be mitigated with a little bit of extra effort and prep.
Well, you can be prepared for almost anything, but when the average person's fight or flight kicks in, they normally wouldn't think of asking for an escort. Not everyone is married, nor has a husband, Sean.
There it is. She fell right into the trap.
Some people work hours where they get off like the ass end of the night, or even they're in an unfamiliar area. When you have a tantrum-ridden toddler or crying infant, those extra steps to put them in a cooler, warm vehicle respective to your weather takes priority of getting them in and taking them out again. If I absolutely had to take my 7-month-old with me to the store and couldn't find a close enough space to return the cart area, I'd grab whatever cart was nearby or one from the return cart area and I have to catch myself back up. I grab whichever cart was nearby or one from the return cart area and go in. If my 7-month-old was inconsolable, I'd be more worried about her crying and choking than returning a cart. That doesn't make me a bad member of society, nor any parent in a similar fashion. My point stands. There are situations that are not dire emergencies, situations that are out of your control that can cause someone not to return a cart. You don't know, so you can't always say that they are bad members of society. Sometimes it's just laziness or convenience, not a bad member of society. And the next person wrote, I said likely because someone who has multiple invisible disabilities, all of what you call excuses, can have valid reasons for happening. Your comments come off as someone who has no understanding of empathy. Are some people lazy? Yep. But this is not a black or white thing, and most things rarely are. Somebody else came back and said, wait, no, this is you.
Skipping up? Yeah, that's me. So I said, keeping a calm mind, being stoic, I said, please highlight, circle, or screenshot where I said having a disability was an excuse for not returning a cart. I'll wait. And of course, that never happened.
Dev came back and said, I have always returned my cart. I have never understood why people are so lazy that they won't. And then somebody came back and said, or we could just not judge people. LOL. I almost never return my car in the summer with my babies in the car. So instead of getting a close spot, I park right next to the cart return, and that helps. Oh, that's it.
Now, that wasn't anything. So that was the end of the conversation. I didn't cut it. The girl never responded back to when I said, "Hey, provide me with tangible proof," and she couldn't, or she didn't, or she didn't want to. Maybe she didn't see it. I don't know. But that's the thing. When you ask people to, show me the work, show me your work, show me the proof, show me the facts. That's usually a good way to know that you've won your argument or your discussion. Because if they can't do it, then there you go. They're just talking from feelings or emotions. So the other thing I wanted to highlight and why this is important is she gave all these reasons why, the two of them, why they couldn't return a shopping cart, even though they were able to get the shopping cart. And you see that she has no husband, she has 2 kids, and all I'm hearing, like I said, it's excuses. And not so much the excuses, because you couldn't take responsibility to put a cart back. It probably means you also didn't take responsibility in not having those kids if you didn't want those kids, or maybe you did want those kids, but you didn't select the father properly. So, and you see there's a pattern or repetition here of not taking accountability or responsibility for their own actions when this is a simple test of just doing the right thing. You see how it's a ripple effect, or they say not so much a butterfly effect, but when they throw a stone into a pond and it ripples out, that's their bad decisions rippling out. Now, I don't know this chick from a hole in the wall. Be willing to bet probably got a couple of tattoos here and there, some piercings, probably like a nose piercing, probably got the colored hair, all the usual red flags.
Oh man, you just said 2 of the 3 things that my lady got.
Oh,
hey, no,
shots
I
fired.
know. I know she gonna have something to say about that. Hey, if she ever got the colored hair, bro, I need to watch out. Hey, I need to run quickly.
Mhm.
Oh, so that's a fantastic, man. I recall you sharing that shopping cart theory with me, and I read it and I was like, yo, that's actually something that I don't understand why people don't really talk about this or engage with this, but I was absolutely fascinated by it. Now, before we get into the next segment, there have been some comments, and I want to make sure that we read the comments here before we continue. So, God Happened to Me said, I got opinions. Number one, I would believe the old person and the person with the disability if those carts were only found at the handicap area. Number two, all of those kids, y'all got out the car okay. I feel like you can get inside the car okay too. I agree with that. Número tres, if you are shopping alone at night, you shouldn't get a cart to walk to your car. That is extremely dangerous and can leave you prone to incidents. Before we get to that next thought, Sean, do you have anything to say on that one?
I do. Here's the thing. I mean, we all know that bad things tend to happen more often at nighttime than in the daytime. And if you're a woman who could be vulnerable, and you have children with you, young children with you, you probably shouldn't be taking them out with you at nighttime to go shopping. Now, yes, there are emergencies. You might have to go to a 24-hour CVS because your kid is sick or has a fever. I get that. But if you're just doing regular grocery shopping, that can wait till the morning. You need to do some preparation and do it in the daytime. Simple. Problem solved.
Okay. He said prepare. Be prepared.
Nice.
Dum,
The
dum,
Lion
dum,
King.
dum. There you go. And then the fourth thing that she had an opinion on is that if any of those situations apply to you, park next to the cart return. Problem solved. And she signed it sincerely, a woman that has colored locks.
And you know what? I park next to the cart return because I'm lazy. I know I'm lazy, but you know what? I prepare for my laziness by parking next to the cart return.
Man, for me, it's as simple as there's no shopping cart that's longer than a minute to walk it down and walk it back. You're talking maybe 90 seconds max, man. If you can't do 90 seconds to do the right thing, then yes, I think you have bigger issues to worry about. Absolutely. Okay. So, hey, look, we got people watching in the building. If you hadn't hit that like button, hit that like button already. The next part of what we have is some content that I'm going to assume kind of goes into this theory a little bit more, kind of gives some additional real life examples, right?
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
Roll them.
Roll the footage.
Rolling on the river.
Really shaking right now because I just had a man approach me in a parking lot and it went fine, and I'm going to tell you why it went fine and how to address it, because it was in a book I read and this is how you're supposed to address it, but it scared me. I'm literally shaking. So this guy, I am alone with my son, by myself, a woman, and a male approached me in a parking lot. He's, "Excuse me, miss," and I don't know why in the hell he was approaching me or what he was trying to do. And before he was probably 30 feet from me when he said, "Excuse me, ma'am." And I turned around and I literally yelled at him and I said, "Do not approach me." And he immediately started going in the other direction, and I just kept saying it over and over and over. I said, do not approach me, do not approach me. And he, of course, like got like, what the F did it? Like, he started cussing and yelling, like, what's your problem? And I looked at him, and he actually then crossed a couple cars down from my car. He didn't come anywhere near me. He crossed a couple cars down from my car and was like, continuing to cuss and say, what's your problem? And I said, you do not approach women in a parking lot. I just kept saying, do not approach me. You do not approach women in a parking lot, like yelling it. No male should ever approach a woman in a parking lot, ever. No male should ever approach a woman in a parking lot. And if a male does approach you, you need to turn around and use the strongest voice that you can possibly use with them. Don't be polite. They need to literally screw off. No male should be approaching you in a parking lot.
So what are your thoughts on, actually, before you get your thoughts on this, I want to do a quick little shout out. I found this clip on Roma Army. She did this I guess before we're doing it anyways, and I was like, I can't not comment on this. So I did do a little bit of I don't want to say a deep dive, a little bit of a dive on this girl's TikTok page, and that's what's coming next is some more examples from her TikTok page. People stitched videos together about their commentary on what she said, basically what you all just saw. So we'll be going into that in a little bit. But King, what do you think about that?
No other context. Her saying that, oh, just because you're a single mom or a single woman, that no male, her words were, no male should approach a woman in a parking lot. Man, I'm the father of a young daughter. I'm raising her to be a young woman. And yes, you have to watch out for crazy actors, but not every man out there is out to get you. I think you should have your spider senses tingling, absolutely. But to say that no man should approach you, look, I've had people drop their stuff and I then try to get their attention, like, hey, you dropped something, you dropped your wallet. If you drop some cash, I might not get your attention. But I've had to stop ladies for something that they dropped that I was trying to get their attention. And the funny part is actually, it's kind of funny. It's obvious when somebody's heard you, but they choose to ignore you. At that point, I'm like, look, I've done what I can do. And when they find out that they're missing Tide or that their wallet is sitting right here, then that's on them. Because at that point, yeah, if somebody's going to react like her, I'm not going to then continue trying to help them out because I'm a dude and they feel threatened by a black bearded guy, right? I think that there's no point. But to default lump all, because she said no man should approach a woman in a parking lot, I think that's ludicrous. Could she have experienced some type of trauma in her past that's led her to be like that? Maybe.
Right.
I'll give her a small benefit of the doubt. So that's
now I do want to point out a few things. So it is daytime. If you're looking in through her windows, it's still daytime, and she does say that this just happened to me. So she said she felt threatened and she didn't want that guy to be talking to her. But what's her first instinct? Get in her car and shoot a video, shoot a vlog about it. If you felt endangered, why would you still be in the same parking lot? And you could hear her child in the back of the car as well. And she also said that the guy was about 30 feet away. Now, people don't always know what 30 feet is because people aren't good with measurements. I know a person that doesn't know inches for some reason. But anyways, 30 feet's a pretty good distance away. And if someone says, excuse me, ma'am, that probably isn't the first thing that, I don't know, someone who's going to do you harm is going to say to you. Usually the element of surprise is what they want to do to get you. Yeah. So like I said, there's so many factors and so many, key elements that happen in this video from what she said and what's going on. It does seem that, like, so one thing I want to point out, it does seem that she is married. I was looking at her ring finger. There is a rock on there, a pretty big rock. And look at her TikTok, and she does mention her husband in some other contexts as well. So it does appear that she is married. So the whole bring your husband with you to the store is valid. But she also did go to the store during the day, so I'll give her points on that. But like I said, this just seems like someone to me who's like crying out for attention, someone who wants to be valid by any means necessary, which we'll kind of go into. We'll see that a little bit later as well. So go ahead. We're gonna go into the next. Let's go into the first reaction clip from a guy who reacted to her clip.
Okay, and roll it.
I'm literally shaking right now because I just had a man approach me in a parking lot and it went fine. And I'm going to tell you why it went fine and how to address it, because it was in a book I read and this is how you're supposed to address it, but it scared me. By myself, a woman, and a male approached me in a parking lot. He's, "Excuse me, miss," and I don't know why in the hell he was approaching me or what he was trying to do. And before he was probably 30 feet from me when he said, "Excuse me, ma'am." And I turned around and I literally yelled at him and I said, "Do not approach me." And he immediately started going in the other direction. And I just kept saying it over and over and over. I said, "Do not approach me."
You know what bothers me about people like this or videos like this? To me, it comes across like it is so glaringly obvious that people like her or people who make videos like this are so desperate to be a victim. Do I understand there could be situations where a man approaching you is a dangerous situation? For sure. But the way she is reacting to a man just coming up to her in the parking lot, who most likely had absolutely no harm to her, and her reaction is this over the top to the point that she's screaming at the guy in the parking lot and she's shaking with fear in her car. To me, it is so obvious that people like her just want to be a victim. They will take very minute and simple situations and expand it and exaggerate it so far beyond what it actually was that they literally change the reality that just happened. So it's no surprise after she made this video, she turns off her comments because all of the comments were saying exactly what I said. And then she makes a video saying how to handle online bullies. And on her most recent videos, anybody who does comment any type of criticism or holds her accountable for how she over-exaggerates a situation like this, she just deletes their comments and then leaves the ones that she agrees with. Do you not understand why this type of behavior is harmful to women who actually experience sexual assault or actual sexual harassment? Because this is why guys do not take a lot of these things seriously anymore. Because every time we hear a girl who says that this has happened to her, this is the type of girl that we picture saying these stories. Some simple situation that's being completely over-exaggerated because of a girl who just wants to make a story out of it.
Do I keep playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Altered until further notice, probably for a very long time, because you guys are just being mean.
Nobody is being mean. The comments are saying your reaction was completely unwarranted based on what happened. You want to make a video and say, hey, be cautious when men approach you, completely fine.
That's fine.
But the reaction was so over the top, and you sitting there saying that the comments are being mean, when you're just being held accountable for stereotypes that you are starting, is insane. It always blows my mind when somebody makes a TikTok video or any type of video and they'll get hundreds of thousands of comments saying that their behavior was completely wrong in the video, and all they'll do is turn off comments.
Yep.
If hundreds of thousands of people are all agreeing that your behavior is wrong, it is more than likely that you probably did something wrong. And sitting there and filtering out the comments that you don't like because you feel bad for your behavior doesn't change the reality that you made a fool out of yourself. You are pushing the stereotype of why a lot of guys do not take these accusations seriously when we hear it from girls. Because this is what we picture when we hear a girl telling these stories.
Down from my car, he didn't come anywhere near me. He crossed a couple cars down from my car and was like, what's continuing to cuss and say, what's your problem? And I said, you do not approach women in a parking lot. I just kept saying, do not approach me. You do not.
She even acknowledges herself that this guy got nowhere close to her. And she's shaking with anger as if this man just attacked her. Again, I understand men are far more dangerous than women when it comes to violent crimes. But sitting there in fear of men to this degree is not healthy. And sitting there and turning off comments that say that you are over-exaggerating a simple situation isn't going to change that you did. And no, this is not bullying. So I know it might be hard, but you might have to take some responsibility. But I'm going to take a wild guess and say you're probably not going to do that. So I guess go ahead and delete all the comments you don't like for the next couple weeks until everyone forgets about this. That seems easier than taking responsibility.
Yeesh.
That dude was cooking, man. And hey, before we get into ours, I do want to acknowledge the comments because look, people take the time to watch. We want to make sure that we acknowledge what they're saying. So God Happened to Me, as the video was playing, had some pretty interesting points. to one of the things that we talked about earlier. She said, I don't like generalizations about women, and I do not like them about men. Every man is not trying to harm you. As a sexual assault survivor, it can be hard to think otherwise, but not every man is evil. Okay. To the point to where this was a bit of a joke and it made me laugh. But he said, okay, ma'am, April is Sexual Assault and Awareness Month, and your video offends me. He also said, this is why some women struggle to tell their truth, because some people just want to be seen. And that goes to the point of being difficult to listen to somebody and understand if it's the truth. When I'm going to say, man, this is a difficult subject, but out of the times that I'm personally aware of that accusations were levied against somebody, there have been more times that the story wasn't as reported than there were times of it actually being what was reported. That's my personal observation. All right. And then she has another point here that she said that the lady's too scared, but she decides to record, not call the cops,
right?
Record, put this on her TikTok,
or drive away,
or turn on the car and distance herself from this man that is approaching her that seems to be a threat. Oh man, that guy that did the stitch, his points were spot on. It was a very logical way of approaching it. And Sean, I'll be honest with you, women like that scare me. I mean, legit frighten me.
Mm-hmm.
I do not interact with young women that are quick to be like that. Because look, let me just be frank. I'm not trying to end up like Emmett Till, man.
I feel you. Yeah.
I'm not trying to end up like Emmett Till. She says one thing, cries tears of crocodile tears, and then you get all of the simps or people that only hear her screaming, and then they see me, a young black bearded male, and just assume I'm the bad guy. Women like that frighten me. I don't even approach them.
And here's the point I want to make. A lot of women nowadays, there's this narrative that a lot of women are saying that, where are all the good men? Where is chivalry gone? Why are there no chivalrous men gone? It's because of women like that we don't even put our necks out on the line anymore. We're not going to help you. We're not going to, do the things that men used to do. And you guys want to be empowered. You want to be strong, independent. Go ahead. Do it on your own. We're not going to, if you drop your card on the ground, you drop your wallet, you drop your kid's little binky on the ground, that is on you. We are not helping anymore. Well, I still will to an extent, but I'm just not willing to do it as much as I would nowadays, because I know everyone has a camera, everyone wants to spin their own stories, and if you're not recording, you can't defend yourself because it's your story, your word against someone's camera, where they're filming the aftermath and not the actual interaction, and people are going to believe the aftermath because it's on camera instead of the interaction that actually happened that isn't on camera.
Yep. So there's more content that we're going to bring up as well, and then we're going to see if there's any additional comments and close out the show. So let's bring the first video back up.
Shaking right now because I just had a man.
Got to do some fast forwarding here. Let's see, about right here. All right, roll it, Sean.
Yep, go ahead and roll it.
Trying to put him in his car seat. And I'm getting a lot of comments like this one, that how I responded to protect me and my son in that situation was over the top. Other people are saying he could have just been trying to help, or that someone that says, "Excuse me, ma'am," isn't a criminal. So let me ask you this. What does a criminal look like? At what point do you choose to defend yourself? Are you going to wait until somebody with an orange jumpsuit approaches you? Or maybe someone with a t-shirt that says, "I'm a rapist," or a human trafficker, or "I'm about to rob you"? Whatever your threshold might be, I would suggest that you don't wait until the person is right on top of you to do something about it. And as a woman, never underestimate your instincts.
All right, you can pause it there. So I did want to say I did learn this one fact from a friend of mine who she has studied up on the whole sex trade and women being abducted. And
Mhm.
the thing is that people don't like to understand, or they don't actually know until they actually do the research, that a lot of time these women who get abducted, they're abducted by other women. It isn't just a man in a van who just snatches them up. It's women, because when a woman comes around, another woman is going to be, she's already going to have her guard drop because she assumes this woman is on
Mm.
her side. It's that girl mentality that you guys stick together. And that's what they use to lure these girls into bad situations and sell them off into the sex trade. So you just think automatically that any man is just negative. He's going to do bad things to you. He's going to snatch you away, and it's almost unfair because they don't even consider the fact that a lot of the times, I don't know what the exact percentage is. You guys can go and look it up, but women are the ones that cause these issues, these problems where they just snatch other girls up, and you won't see, they get disappeared basically.
I never
But
even thought about that.
yeah,
But that's a fair point. And even God Happened to Me said Sean is 100% right. Yeah, it's wow. I've never thought about that, but you're right. Like, it's not about trying to create a counterpoint. It's about having a logical point to what she's trying to lead into her argument. And that went, man. After the show, I'm going to be curious what that number is, and I'm going to look it up.
all right, you got your homework.
Bet.
The amount of guys that are triggered by my last post is like unhinged,
I know.
absolutely unhinged. If anything, it has just solidified in my mind how important it is to protect you and your kids and to go with your instinct when you feel like you're in an unsafe situation. Stay safe out there, ladies, because if you don't keep you and yours safe, no one else is going to.
No, the issue is you overreacted, and you don't want to admit you overreacted because you just don't want to, because you have pride. Okay. Second issue, the precedent, you and the 50,000 women that now follow you because of your original video are setting a very dangerous precedent. If we're getting yelled at and basically treated like a creep simply because you go, "Excuse me, ma'am," from 30 feet away in a parking lot in the middle of the day in public.
Yep, broad daylight.
Next time we start, I guess we can start being like, okay, well, I'm in a parking lot, the woman's over there hurt, or someone's coming up to her, something's not right. I'm a man. I can't help you. Y'all are really making it to where men just want nothing to do with women, romantically, protection-wise, helping, anything. Just like, if they get hurt, they get hurt. If whatever happens to them, oh well. But some of you probably want that. That's your right. But when you're getting it to a point where men can't even help someone who can be injured simply because it's a woman, because of this precedent, well, she might take it the wrong way, or it's dangerous for a man to approach a woman. Yeah, y'all need some psychiatric help.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
So I did want to, when he said the things he said, it made me think of something. So the first thing is, if you happen to be a woman and get pinned under your car, based off of the way she is framing this, I'm just gonna look at you and care about my day. Sorry, I'm a man. I can't come near you. I'm a scary man, and you're pinned under your car.
So hold on. Would you at least wave down? Hey, I need a woman over here to come and get this car for her.
No. I'm gonna say I can't come near you. Sorry, and just keep it moving, keep it pushing. But the other thing was when he was talking about almost kind of the same thing. I'm forgetting what I'm saying again. Whew.
Man, that old age is kicking in, bro.
See all those grays?
Yeah. Mine's starting to match them grays you got.
I'll probably come back to it at some point. But
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
And I turned around and I literally yelled at him and I said, "Do not approach me."
I am seething after seeing the comments in her video. I couldn't stitch, but the recap is she was alone in a parking lot with her son. A man started to approach her. She turned around and forcefully said, "Do not approach me." And the guy backed off. And the people in the comments are being ferociously gaslighty. They're saying stuff like she's overreacting, she's lost the plot. That man was probably just trying to be polite. What if she dropped something? Y'all, that...
Oh, could you pause it? So that reminds me, that's what my point was. So
Okay.
this man who's come up next to her saying, "Excuse me, ma'am," he could have been trying to warn her. There could have been some other person who might have messed with her car. There could have been someone who was another guy who was lying in wait next to her car. They always talk about, if there's like a tissue in your door handle, whatever, don't touch it
Yes.
because it could be
Yep, I've
laced.
seen that.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's been the new thing to watch out for.
right? He could have been saying like, "Hey, I saw someone looking in your car, and they're over there in their car waiting on you." He could have been trying to warn her. Literally any type of thing that he's trying to help her do, but she wants to play the victim card and scream at this man who's probably just trying to help her, more than likely just trying to help her.
Mm.
And as you can see, it didn't go well.
Okay. Good point.
But this I'm going to say person, I'm not sure what this person identifies as, but I wanted to put the other side of the people who were on her side into this video, and we
Okay.
can kind of examine what they think.
All right, cool.
mentality gets women... What if she dropped her credit card? What if he's being nice and getting her credit card for her? So she loses a credit card. People lose credit cards every day. I'd rather lose a credit card than lose my life. And look, I could go into why every one of those comments is absolutely asinine, but what I would rather do is address any women, non-binary folks watching this. Please hear me when I say, you do not owe strangers your time. You do not owe strangers your attention. You do not owe
Fair.
strangers niceness. I am not always polite to strangers when I go out, specifically strange men, and I recognize that leaves those strangers not liking me very much. But I would rather be disliked than be. If you need more ideas on what to say or how to stand up for yourself, please follow Caffeinated Kitty on here. She's one of my idols on this app. And also to any cis men who, for whatever reason, have stumbled on my TikTok, please don't go out in the world acting like women owe you their time and attention.
That's fair.
They do not. And of all the places to try and talk to a woman, a parking lot sure as shit is not a good place. Danielle, if you needed to hear somebody say this, you did everything right. I'm proud of you. You protected yourself and your son.
Absolutely not.
Good job. And thank you for making your video. And I'm sorry people are being terrible in the comments.
There is someone at the store, and I don't know them. Stranger danger.
Hey, did you put that together?
Yeah.
Well done, my man. All right, so looking at what she said, like 50% of what she said, I rocked with. Actually, some of the things she talked about, I actually agree. I tell my daughter, hey, you don't really owe anybody niceness. Just because somebody does come up to you and politely says, hey there, Mr. Smith, how are you today? Hey man, fuck you. Like, I could say that. I don't owe them nicety just because they came out polite to me. I actually agree with. Just because you're giving politeness, you don't automatically need to give lightness back. I
disagree.
For the most part, I rock with that. The part where she also said, you don't owe nobody your time. I agree with that too. Just because you're trying to get my attention, I'm not required to give it to you. That I vehemently agree with. But you said that you disagreed with my first point. Tell me what you disagree on.
I disagree because if someone is coming up to you politely and is addressing you politely, then there's no issue. I mean, how often are we really in such a rush in our day-to-day lives that we can't take a couple of seconds to address someone who has addressed us politely? Now, I think that plays a big part of what's wrong with the world currently today, that there's no community anymore. There's no sense of togetherness because everyone's concerned about themselves and their own time. I'm not trying to shame you, King. I'm just saying that I feel like the world, or at least America, will be a bit better of a place if people just take the time to say hello, how are you doing, how just to kind of shoot the shit. I'm not saying you got to do it to every single person, but what I'm saying is, if someone's saying, hey, how you doing, just return the favor and just say, I'm doing great, things, how are you doing? Just like if you're at work and you're passing someone in the hallway, just because you don't feel like saying anything to that person at work, are you not going to say anything to them? It's just being cordial. It's called small talk. But then if you don't say anything, that person passes you, then be like, man, that asshole. What's wrong with him? And that's the thing. That can be the difference between someone's day being a good day or a bad day. And a bad day can also mean the difference of someone, you could be that catalyst that makes it so they continue that day or they end that day, if you get what I'm saying.
I'm rocking with you. I'm rocking with you.
So a little bit of niceness goes a long way. But if someone
Mm,
I'm with you now. If someone comes to you wrong, approaches you wrong, and they're just rude and impolite, then yeah, ignore them. Keep it moving. Keep pushing. Not a problem. But I think a little bit more niceness in this world is definitely something that we need.
okay. All right. Okay. My voice is going up, so you can tell I'm about to hit you with something. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're taking public transportation and you're getting out from said public transportation and you're walking from public transportation to your job,
Mhm.
where we reside at, you have a fair amount of nice people. Hey there, bald head black guy. How you doing, man? Help me out, brother. I'm just trying to get on my feet, man. And you catch that 9-10 times minimum from the
Mhm.
from the time you step foot off public transportation to the time you get to your job. They said it nicely, Sean. How often have you taken the time to reach into your pocket and help that man that's been doing that for the last 25 years and
Actually,
give
you know
him
what?
a quarter that's been in your pocket?
More often than you think. But okay, so let me actually tell you. So I'll be real. Maybe like 25 to 50% of the time that I actually do engage with them. It isn't anything long. I just say, "Hey, how you doing?" or "Good morning," or I'll say, "Sorry, I don't have any cash on me," because I don't walk with cash on me. I really don't. But there have been times where homeless people, I assume they're homeless, they will say, "Hey, can you help me out? I'm really hungry. Can you give me something to eat?" And you know what? 9 times out of 10, I always say yes because I have no problem buying someone a meal. If that meal's going to help them get from this day to the next, I will do that.
Hmm.
But I don't give out money because to me, I feel like if I'm giving you money, I don't know where that money is going. You might be using it for your next fix, and I don't want to be responsible for that next fix being your last fix. So
Okay.
food I'll buy, but
Okay.
not give them the money. Sorry.
I thought I had you. I knew I had you. God happened to me said she had time to record content, but not enough time to run away or call the cops. Seriously, cut the foolishness. There are real victims out there who are never heard or acknowledged because of the false accusations of others. I'm not overly nice to anyone in public, but I don't assume that everybody is trying to harm me as well. And then to my most recent point, she said, I get what you both are saying. I'm polite, offering a smile or a wave, but I don't always engage in conversation. But that's just my introverted nature. And there's nothing wrong with that,
Yeah,
because not you don't have to just be outwardly bubbly and happy and stuff all the time. Absolutely.
yeah. Don't get me
Okay.
wrong. I definitely ignore people. Have my earbuds in. Sometimes listening to stuff. Sometimes I'm not. My earbuds are in. I will ignore them sometimes. So that's the other
Man,
50%.
You introduce
man, I thought I
yourself. Are
had
you
you.
introducing yourself by your first name, or do you say, "My name is Doctor So"?
I don't think how you introduce yourself to a patient as Dr. So and so makes you unrelatable. I think what really matters is how you treat the patient. Are you treating the patient with kindness, understanding, listening to them, and empathizing? That to me is a lot more relatable than me introducing myself as doctor. Because guess what? They're in the hospital to see a physician. As a woman, and especially as a woman physician who is a person of color, a lot of people look at me and naturally assume that I am not a doctor. I can walk in with my white coat, my name and title embroidered on there with my badge that says physician or doctor on it, introduce myself as Dr. Flyer to the patient, and some patients will still complain that they haven't seen the doctor all day long. That is implicit bias. And I think this take is really bad, especially for female physicians in medicine, because we can be relatable just by our actions.
Now, the reason why, keep pause real quick. The reason why I put that clip in and like the rest of these is to show, or at least get an idea of what her mindset is, this girl's mindset is. Because to me, it seems like she doesn't have a job. She she's a housewife, which is fine if you want to be a housewife. But do something productive with your time. Don't just make up stories. Just don't, whatever mind vomit you have and put it on the internet and call it a vlog. Because as you can see, she was talking about, do you guys care if a doctor, presents himself with her as a doctor or as her first name? Who cares? And then you see a doctor saying, like, it doesn't matter what I present myself as. The people are there for the care. And you can see that if her thought process is like Inception, she's not going past level one of being incepted.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
this is just another. It's just an example of, like I said, you're gonna see. So basically, well, just let the clip play. It speaks for itself.
All right.
What do you do when Amazon sends you an unsafe product, but then
I'm glad your kid's okay, but your first instinct was to set up the camera. Mommy vlogging is a disease.
Leave me alone. Why do you keep?
And so she was completely correct. Just real quick, I'm gonna talk about this clip real quick. So this clip is just kind of to illustrate how some women, they'll just go off the deep end in like 0 to 60 in like 1 second. This isn't the same girl, different girl, but similar situation.
Okay.
Follow me. It's honestly so creepy, and I'm gonna call the cops.
Man,
Okay?
no.
Because you guys aren't leaving me alone, and that's why women can't go out in the world by themselves. Because of guys like you.
What?
Okay? So stop following me.
You have, I don't know if you have like a gas. You have a thing hanging out of your car.
What are you talking about?
There's literally a gas hose hanging out of your car. No one's being creeped. Oh, no, thank you. I guess. There's the thank you. That's. She's what? She's taking it with her. She doesn't have. Thanks for to get all of it. Oh, dude. She didn't even close the gas can. She's out here.
Oh man. Hey, look. Oh my goodness, Sean. These stitched examples are the reason why I would tell young guys. I actually tell young guys, don't go out your way. Do not go out your way. When you try to, I would say that the probability of it ending in a good way is unfavorable.
Mhm.
I think that the initial thing of you trying to help, because people maybe used to being scammed, they don't know who you are, so their stranger danger might be going off in their head, right? And here you are going out of your way, and you don't even have it acknowledged that you are simply trying to highlight or help them out. Man, I saw another clip that was pretty similar to this one. It was a mailman in his uniform in the mail truck delivering mail, and a Karen type person was like, quit stalking me, quit following me, like you're out here. And he's like, wait, are you talking to me? Are you serious? He was in his uniform, Sean. If it wasn't a marked mail truck in a mailman outfit, okay, I get your paranoia. But when you actually have somebody that's wearing the U.S. Postal Service uniform in a U.S. Postal Service vehicle, and you are trying to say that that person's following you,
Right.
what's wrong with you? It's wild.
It's someone who's watched way too many movies who thought that someone was going to go to any length to harm them and got a fake U.S. Post Office uniform, probably has some sort of Ocean's 11 type of heist to steal a truck, and then put a bunch of fake mail in there just to harass that person. I mean, like, what goes through their heads with these situations like that, where there's plenty of proof right in front of your face and common sense just escapes them, just like poof, no common sense here. So this thing, like, it's tough being a man nowadays because you want to do the right thing. I think it might even be biologically to want to do the right thing, or maybe just biologically to want to help. But you can't nowadays because almost everything you do is seen as threatening or upsetting or scary. Man bad, woman good. No matter what they do, they're always good. But yeah, I mean that's basically what I have for everyone tonight.
Okay,
And
so
you guys,
Sean titled this "Overreacting or Fearing for Your Safety." Look, I feel for anybody that is married and or sleeping to sleeping with the woman that you stitch here in these videos. I legit feel bad. I would imagine that 30% of that person's time is great, and 70% of that time, that person is miserable. I mean, I don't even want to imagine the bedtime talk that the one first lady must have with that lady, hearing about her day and the BS that she's made up throughout her entire day. Like, can you imagine? I wonder if he heard the story before it went to TikTok, or if he found out about it because of TikTok, and then now she's getting, you know what? Oh, did
Okay.
she call him first and then record it? Did she record it, posted it, didn't even say anything to him, and then maybe at night when they're cuddling up and he's trying to play Call of Duty, but hey babe, I want to talk to you. Hey babe, I have something to talk about. Hey, look at this TikTok. Like, come on now. Come on.
Right.
That's what I want to know. How much of this did she actually talk about with her husband before it went to social media?
Yeah.
I don't think it was a lot. You know what? Maybe he's like, hey, I'm glad she posting whatever the social media, so I ain't got to deal with her. But that's the wrong way to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
That is the wrong way to go about it.
Here's my thing. I mean, like I said, we're in the whole red pill manosphere thing, and a lot of men tend to say they want their woman to not work, to be at home and stay at home and be a housewife. And if that's what you want, fine. Me personally, that's not how I was brought up. That's not how, like I said, my mom and dad, they both worked. They both just recently retired within the last 5 years, and they worked past retirement age. My thing is with the women, these women nowadays, these modern women, I believe that they aren't built to stay at home and be housewives. They're not built to be able to endure what our mothers and grandmothers did and grandmothers before that did. So, saying that, what I'm getting at is they need to have a job. They need to have something to keep them actually busy, because when they're not busy, they're doing these kind of things, creating stories and fantasies just to have someone pay attention to them. They're shopping for attention, basically. Or, sorry, they're peddling for attention. And like I said, I just think that, remember I talked about, I forget what video it was, but like sometimes you got to like shake keys in front of them to keep them occupied. And like, ooh, something that's jangling, something that's shiny. Because if you don't, you get stuff like this. Now, we are going to do a video. Hopefully, it doesn't get flagged. It's a what's her name? The divorce court lady, Judge Lynn Toller. That is going to kind of coincide with this type of female, where a stay-at-home person, and you'll see what kind of issues arise from that.
Okay.
So that's what's on the docket next for us.
Okay, so hey, look, for those of y'all that watch this live, I appreciate y'all tuning in. If you haven't, mash that like button. Sean has been pumping out content, which I've been grateful about. We have been, I think this is the most lives that we've had in a short time span, and I'm also thankful for that too. But be sure to tune in, as we're also going to have our short form content as well. Okay. And there's another comment that I want to highlight before we close. God happened to me said, pause. If a man wants to make me a housewife, bring him over here. Salute to you. Hey, you've been pretty active in these comments, young lady, and I want to say thanks for that. If you hadn't hit that like button, mash it already. All right.
Yeah.
So
go ahead and drop some super chats for us too. I bought a brand new computer, y'all. This thing costs lots of money. I need to pay this thing off. Come on, help us out.
he
Just so we can
said,
get you
help
guys
us
content.
out. We got to get this equipment paid off.
Exactly. So I can get this content to you guys quicker. I went out there and bought a brand new, shiny, clean, new hotness computer. This thing has 8 screens. I mean, it doesn't, but you can believe that.
Believe that. All right, hey Sean, man. Hey, excellent stitch, man. You're stepping up your producing game over here, man. Salute to you. Salute to everybody else that watched, that's going to catch this on the replay. We appreciate you. All right.
Definitely do.
Are out. Peace.
Let's get it. Shake it like understand who I is. Not that many gon' do it like this. Bob your head, we can hear my shit, but I'm on my shit. I ain't had no chill. I'm who I are, I'm who I is. Taylor Susan, I play the part. Fuck a fire, how you mesmerize. Black Austin pies, man, that I'm stupid. Then again, oh so clever. On my loony, pour that lever. Talk my shit, I'm talking hella flow, baby. You